Hi.
Alright, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're brand new here, my name is Nikki and this is my book nook. Guys, it's been a few weeks, I've had time to process. I'm finally in a place where I am ready to talk about Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. If you are new to my channel, if you are new to this series, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, I just want to let you know right now, this is not the video for you because this is the third book in this series and there's simply no way to talk about it without giving away spoilers. So if you're interested in this series, I do just want to let you know, imagine Gossip Girl, but set in the high society of London. It is messy, dramatic, but everything I've ever wanted and needed. This series has literally set my heart on fire. I started it in 2022 and I just know it's gonna continue to own me in 2023. I can't even explain the deep level of love and passion that I have for this series. All the characters, the entire world, it just feels so real. It feels like you're a part of it. I've never read anything like it. I think Jessa Hastings is an artist and this is her masterpiece. I can never say enough things about it. But if you're interested in this series, I don't want to spoil it for you. Go and watch my first video I made about the very first Magnolia Parks book. That one is spoiler free. So if you want to learn a little bit more information about what it's about and decide if you want to read it, go watch that and then come back after you've read the first 3 books and then we can talk about this together. But yeah, guys, The Long Way Home. Oh my God. I knew that I was gonna be in for a bit of an emotional roller coaster. You know, I feel like the Magnolia Parks universe fan base is very much a bit of a cult. Jessa Hastings very much has a cult following of super hardcore fans of this series. And a few of those fans are people that I follow on social media that I'm very close with. And as I've continued to love this series and follow Jessa Hastings, I feel like I've expanded my horizons and I follow a lot more people that love it. So I have seen a lot of people post about this book and every single one of them are just like on the floor, sobbing, like dying, rating it infinity out of infinity stars and just like losing their mind. Like I knew that this book was just next level compared to the first 2 books in the series. I figured that, but oh my God, like the amount of emotions that I felt reading this, every single type of one at every given point, every given stage. It's like from one page to the next, I could feel 2 entirely different ways. Like it just started right out of the gate, hit me right in the feels. It just, I say it over and over, but I don't know how I'm able to adore but also despise so many characters at the same time. Like every character in this book at one point or another you love, you're like, they're my favorite, I love them so much, but then like the next minute you're like, you idiot, like why did you do that? What's wrong with you? Why can't you just like keep your shit together? They're just a mess. It really is like Gossip Girl. There's so many like inner workings to this group, and then between the Magnolia Parks universe, like, and the Daisy Hates universe and how the 2 are intertwined and how the stories are intertwined, like that is a whole nother thing in of itself. We'll talk about that in a minute. But like generally, let's just kind of talk through this book and what happened. We, you know, pick up where we left off, or really more so a year later. At this point when this book starts, Magnolia fled London whenever she discovered that, you know, BJ cheated on her with her best friend, Paley. That was, oh my God. I usually feel like I can see things coming from a mile away, but whenever that happened, whenever that was revealed, my jaw was on the floor. My heart was ripped from my chest. I was completely blindsided. So, you know, she fled London, as I think she should have, went to New York, you know, was kind of still with Tom, but then at the end of Daisy Hates, we learned that, you know, her and Tom are not gonna work out because obviously Magnolia only has eyes for BJ. She's never going to love anybody in the way that she loves BJ, even though the 2 of them are so horrible for each other and treat each other so terribly. They literally cannot live without each other. They cannot love anybody else in the way that they love each other. So we know after Daisy Hates that Magnolia has been living in New York. She's kind of been shagging around, being a bit of a trollop, trying to get BJ off her mind. But yeah, it's been a year. She's making her big return to London. She thinks she's just gonna be there for a little bit, pop in and out, you know, show her face at an event, say hi, and that she's gonna be completely unbothered by BJ and he's not gonna talk her back into anything. But as we know, the minute these 2 are in the same room together, the chemistry is just, it's there. The tension, it's palpable. And that would all be fine and cute. But now we have a whole new element added to the drama that is Magnolia and BJ's relationship, because while she has been over in New York, just kind of like sleeping with everybody, dating around, BJ has found himself settling down with a new girlfriend, Jordan, our little Aussie friend that has joined this cast of characters. Oh my God, Jordan being a part of this story. I mean, I just have to say, it was obviously so frustrating that BJ was with her, but it just added a whole other element of drama and like forbiddenness to the entire thing. Obviously, BJ and Magnolia always keep each other apart, like always push each other away. There's always a million things keeping them from being together. But now him actually having a girlfriend and Magnolia just like not caring and like hating her and just outright flirting with him anyways, and them literally just like getting together anyways. It's just, I ate it up. It was so good. And then her having the audacity to like get mad that he is like still with his girlfriend. It's just, I don't know. It was so funny. It was so frustrating. It was so painful to watch. I hated Jordan, but at times I also was like, okay, girl, like I thought she was, you know, she's obviously, I thought she was kind of dumb because clearly your man just isn't that into you. Like it's only going to be Magnolia Parks. It's always only going to be Magnolia Parks. We know that. But, you know, whenever she would purposely try to get under Magnolia's skin and like knew what she was doing, I'm like, sis, I don't know. It's like I had this thing with Magnolia. I honestly really liked her in the first book. I know that she's kind of the worst. Like she's kind of a terrible person. She really does, you know, like Christian made in his big speech in the first book, whenever he's like, she needs everyone to be in love with her. She needs all the attention on her at all times, but she just leads everyone on. I had to root for that man in that book because I'm like, I mean, I love Christian. He really is the only person that will be truthful and put this girl in her place and just like, you know, come right out and say it. So he's totally right. She's kind of the worst. And you know, when you go and read Daisy Hates and see how different of a character Daisy is, you really start to understand how like out of touch with reality Magnolia is and how she just is so full of herself and self-centered and just unaware of anybody else's feelings or anything else going on in the world. So yeah, I didn't really mind Jordan putting her in her place a little bit. It was kind of fun. It added a little bit more drama. I loved and I'm sorry by the way, like there's gonna be no rhyme or reason to this video. As you can tell, I'm just here to blabber. Like much like this book, there's no structure. It's just like, this is my thought process when I think about this book. So I'm just like rambling everything as I'm thinking it. But the road trip, the little road trip for the birthday present for Tara, where VJ and Magnolia went with Tara, and I can't even remember which one of the two guys she's hooking up with, Henry or Jonah. Which one was it? I don't even remember. But when they went on the little road trip and then they broke down and VJ and Magnolia were forced to share the room, one bed trope, I was screaming. I was like biting my knuckles. I was like, ah, my God. Loved that, loved all of that. But one big thing about this book, one thing that I really loved, was that we got even more of a look at my favorite character so far in this entire universe, Julian freaking Hates. That man owns my heart. I loved him from the moment he was introduced in the very first Magnolia Parks book. There was something about him, I'm just like, I have my eyes on you, Julian Hates. Like, I feel like you're gonna sneak up on me. I feel like I'm going to be really into you. And then obviously we get to see his point of view in Daisy Hates and see how he's a part of this world, you know, much like Daisy. He's a part of this same sort of high society world, this group of friends, but you know, they're all rich and famous because like their parents are rich and they're business moguls or they're famous or whatever, where the Hates family is like involved in crime. They're like gang lords. Like that's where they get their money from. So Julian being a part of this group and having like this whole like underground other world going on, and like us knowing that coming out of Daisy Hates, and then seeing how like naive and oblivious Magnolia is to all of it, was just like so cool. And seeing how, you know, when they started to like get together and have their thing, seeing Julian just crumple for her, even though he literally like kills people on a daily basis, like is a gang lord, is involved in some really sketchy shit, he still, just like all these other men, is like falling to his knees for Magnolia freaking Parks. And that line where he said like, I'm embarrassed to admit, you know, I, like many men or whatever, have discovered there's just about nothing I wouldn't do for you, Magnolia Parks. Whatever that quote was, I like highlighted it 10 times, underlined it. I was like, oh my God, Julie in my heart. Like you could see him resisting. You could see them wanting to keep their friends with benefits, no strings attached kind of relationship going, but clearly that man was falling. He was falling head over heels, and I felt so bad for him. And I have such like mixed feelings about it, because it's like I want them to be together because I want Julian to be happy, but I think Julian deserves so much better than Magnolia. And that's the honest truth, because you knew at the end of the day, like, it's her and BJ. It's always gonna be her and BJ, and she's never gonna be able to fully give her heart to anybody else. So I didn't want that for Julian, because I want Julian to get everything he wants in life, but I don't know who he's gonna end up with, because, you know, as we know at the end of the story, Magnolia and BJ got together. Oh my gosh, wait, I have to talk about it or I'm gonna forget. The whole scene on Christmas where, again, all over the place, off the rails. The scene where BJ went to Magnolia's house for Christmas and gave her the little freaking necklace that she lost and then he found in like a, you know, secondhand shop, and it's the exact same necklace, and he gave it to her on Christmas whenever he like pushed her up against the door. That's like maybe my favorite scene in this entire world so far. Like, I went back and reread it 3 different times because it just like made my heart flutter and do things. I don't know, as awful as they are, the love that Magnolia and BJ have for each other is just, it's all Jessa Hastings, you know, it's her writing, it's the way that they think about each other, just like the way she describes things, like she just has such a poetic, beautiful way with words that I've just never read from anyone else. I am enamored with her. I am obsessed with the way that she writes. Like, I want to get inside of her brain and just live there, because I just think she's incredible how she was able to come up with this entire story and all of these characters and the inner workings of all of them. But yeah, that whole scene made my heart explode. But back to, you know, towards the end of the book, where obviously Magnolia and Julian end their little arrangement. He helps her get BJ jealous because he's a good fucking person at his core, and he just wants her to be happy, even though he was totally freaking falling for her. And I know now in Daisy Hates the Great Undoing that he's gonna still be messed up over her. I just realized I didn't even mention, like, a massive part of this book is learning about Magnolia and BJ's like unborn little child that they had together, how they got pregnant when they were in high school and thought they were full-blown gonna have a kid and leave high society and go live in the country with their little baby, and they even picked out a name for it and all of this, and then they lost it. And yeah, that was obviously a very big deal for them, and that's something else that we learned in this story, and just something else that keeps the two of them tied together forever. Sorry, that just like slipped my mind, even though it was a big thing. Yeah, I think it just, again, it tied them even closer together and just made it more obvious that there is no way they're gonna shake each other, because it's just impossible. But yeah, so BJ proposes to Magnolia and like buys them a little house or a little condo or whatever it's called, wherever the rich people live. They got a flat, they got a very nice flat on Oxford Street or whatever it is. I don't know. So like, they got together and it was really freaking cute, and like we knew all along they're gonna get together, and it really ends abruptly in this story with them getting engaged, them being happy. Oh, and then Magnolia almost dying in a car crash, like just casual, not a big deal. I mean, we knew she wasn't gonna be like dead. The whole universe is based off of her, and there's supposed to be 7 books. So I'm like, she's not dying. I wasn't too worried, but it did give BJ his wake up call to be like, okay, stop messing around. Let's propose to this lady, lock her down before one of you dies. But yeah, they got together, but then now Bridget is possibly dead, question mark, I don't know. She just went into some type of like cardiac arrest, got really tired and was like, I'm gonna go to bed, and then just didn't wake up. Magnolia can't wake her up. Kind of think she's dead. I'm curious what that is. I'm like, is this going to be a drama thing? Did she just randomly have something happen to her? Are we gonna find out she was like taking drugs, or like was there some malicious intent? I have absolutely no clue what's gonna come out of the whole Bridget thing, but I'm obviously very excited to continue this series. I'm so interested to see where the next book picks up. Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I don't know, because at the end of the first Daisy Hates, you see that her and Christian, you know, kind of go their separate ways, and that he says, like from Christian's point of view, he says that he doesn't see Daisy for a year after that. So, I mean, we know that Magnolia is in New York for a year, but then we see Christian and Daisy together at points during this book whenever Magnolia is with Julian. And so it's just me, and I love that scene. Oh my God, when Magnolia was like sleeping with Julian and Christian was sleeping with Daisy, and Christian and Magnolia ran into each other in the hallway. That is another one of my favorite scenes so far of the whole series. I just love their friendship. I love Christian so much. Like, that scene was just so funny to me. But yeah, so obviously Christian and Daisy like are back together, or at least messing around. So I am just very curious to see where in the timeline the next book picks up, because just the inner workings of how we're following Daisy's story and how we're following Magnolia's story, and how, you know, they really have these separate lives, but there is overlap, and then getting to see the two of them interact with each other in this book was so interesting. Like, again, I just love anybody that can put Magnolia in their place, and Daisy Hates is the girl to do that. Like, she does not care for her at all, is not, you know, taken with her or fazed by her in any type of way. So I feel like we're gonna continue to see that. I feel like we're gonna continue to see the worlds kind of get closer and closer together. Hopefully Daisy and Magnolia are besties by the end of this. I have no idea. Literally, if you ask me like, where do I think this series is going? I don't know, but I do know there's supposed to be 7 books in it. So I'm like, are we really done with BJ and Magnolia's story? Like, are you really trying to tell me these two are just engaged and done and locked down for another 4 books? I'm not thinking so. So I just don't know. Like, I don't even know if she's planning to stick with the structure of Magnolia Daisy, Magnolia Daisy. I mean, she's obviously done that for the first 4 books, but are we gonna move on and see other people? Like, I feel like there's a lot of people we haven't seen, you know? We haven't seen a lot of Jonah. I don't feel like I know Henry super well, even though he is Magnolia's best friend and BJ's you know, brother. I feel like what was really introduced in this story that is going to come up a lot more is the whole beef and love triangle between Tara and Henry and Jonah. I just feel like because that was touched on so much that it would definitely make sense that we see more of that. I kind of feel like, I don't know, because we haven't gotten their perspectives yet. In each book, I feel like we get more and more perspectives thrown in there, and I don't feel like that would be a part, maybe it could be a part of the Daisy Hates book, because Jonah is in that whole kind of crime world. He is Christian's brother. So maybe we get inside of his head. Maybe his perspective is in that book, and we get to know about the Tara thing. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I've kind of been not holding off, but I'm in no rush to finish the next book. Like, it came out back in December. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it very soon. Honestly, probably in the next few weeks. Do you know how it is? I feel like when I'm really excited about something, or I'm really into a series and it's not complete yet, or even if it is complete, I'm just afraid to be finished with it. I'm afraid to be caught up on it because I love it so much that I don't want to be in like this deep reading slump. Like, I love having that book to look forward to, and I just know that I'm going to love it so much, and I'm just trying to space it out a little bit. I didn't want to binge it right after I read this because I'm just trying to take my time. I don't know when the next book comes out. I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't want to be just like a mess crying on the floor waiting for it. I just adore it. I am so obsessed with this series. I can't get enough of it. I just eat it up. I love all the characters. I think that by the end of it, it's just gonna be so insane and crazy, and it's gonna be so hard to leave behind because I just feel so immersed in it and in love with it. And again, there's just nothing else like it. But yeah, guys, I think for sure my plan is to do a reading vlog of Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. I think I'm gonna do what I normally do, where it's more of like a read along with me, where I pause, you know, and say, okay, I'm at chapter 10, let me talk about what I've read so far, so that if you want to read with me, you can kind of like check in and we can have a little book club moment. I can give you my thoughts, and I don't know, you guys seem to like when I do that, and I think it's fun too. So that is my plan. Hopefully very soon, but not too soon, in the next month for sure. I don't think there's any way I'm gonna be able to wait any longer than a month. But yeah, guys, that's what I have to say. I love this book. It was all over the place. Again, every type of emotion, up and down, frustrated, happy, crying, laughing. Julian Hates is my entire heart and soul favorite character of this entire series so far. I'm so obsessed with him. I love and I hate them all, except for Julian. There's no hate here. I just love him. But yeah, guys, if you read this book, which I hope you did if you're watching this video, I would love to hear your thoughts on it down below. I would love to hear what your expectations are for the series to come without any spoilers for Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Do not do that to me. I will be very upset. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, if you read this book, would love to hear your thoughts, your comments, and you know, anything else you have to tell me. Leave a comment, or my DMs are always open on Instagram. I'm always down to talk about this series. I could do it all day, every day. But yeah, guys, that is it for me today. I am done rambling. I've definitely hit my quota. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.